Hey guys, welcome back to the Vera Project. So I went ahead and I took a bullet basically and bought myself an Ender 5 Plus 3D printer. I'm super excited. I've only had it for 2 days. It's definitely been a journey to go ahead and set it up. Thanks to my friend Garrett, I was able to go ahead and get it up and running. He's had one for a while, for over a year or so. So he was able to go ahead and kind of teach me the tricks of the trade in order to get it going. All I can say is, wow, it's a great printer to get if you're definitely looking to get into the 3D printing business or just for fun or whatnot. So I went ahead and I wanted to do some test prints, and I went ahead and printed a Nintendo Switch remote, okay, kind of handle, so you can go ahead and play with the smaller remote itself. And as you see here, you're able to go ahead and just slide this in. I'm gonna go ahead and wait. We're gonna go ahead and slide it in, and there you go. So this took about 6.5 hours to print. This was a PLA material. You can see it slides in and out very smoothly. It has these buttons that it printed separately, and all I had to do was just push them in there and it was good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the other remote that is currently printing as well. I'm also gonna show you how to configure the software, which is Simplify3D. It's about $150. It's worth the penny to get the software. You can go ahead and do a lot of automations, as in being able to turn off the printer or turning off the fans or cooling the table itself after it's done printing, things like that. So it's a great software. You can configure other things as well that I'll talk more about it later. So let's go ahead and let me take you to a tour on what the printer looks like and the next remote that it's printing as well.
Alright guys, so welcome back. So basically what you're going to do is, in order to find some of the files for you to do 3D printing that's open source, it's out there, they're free. You can go ahead thingiverse.com, and here you can go ahead and search for pretty much anything you're looking for. In this case, I wanted to go ahead and find the Nintendo Switch controllers, so it's easier for me to play with it with the kids. And as you see, it came up here, and this is basically what I'm going to be printing. So you go ahead and you download the file, and once you're done downloading the file, you're going to go ahead and you're going to get these three files right here, these STL. Okay, these STL files, you want to make sure that you can import them into Simplify3D. In that application, you can purchase it. It's $150, but it's one of the best applications, I would say, for 3D printing. In my case, it's very easy to use, a lot more user friendly. So that's why I'm showing you. So you can go ahead and just drag those files in here. As you see, it went ahead and it added both the remotes and the buttons that go above the remote. You can also scale this if you want to, if you might want to make them bigger or smaller. So you have different types of menus here. But what I want to do is, before I go ahead and print it, I want to make sure that I add support for the print, so when this is printing it doesn't fall over. So I go ahead here, I use support structures, generate supports, click on the next one, generate automatic supports, and what it did was it created these supports down here so that way the remote doesn't fall over. Once you're done, you press done and you get it ready to print. Alright, prepared to print. Okay, this is basically what it's going to look like when it prints. You can go ahead and kind of see how it's gonna play out. You'll see how the print is doing it. You can also kind of speed this up if you want. So let's say you're happy with this, right? You can go ahead and just save this. What will happen is it's going to save this as a G-code extension. So you went from an STL to a G-code. And the G-code is what the Ender 5 and most of the printers out there, they read when you go ahead and transfer it over to your micro SD card. So as you can see here, save it, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you are using Ender 5 Plus, I do recommend to make sure that the settings of the software are correct. Okay, now I had a friend of mine that he's very good at 3D printing. He has an Ender 5 Plus, and he was able to walk me through to make sure that my profile here is perfect for the printer, to make sure it prints properly. There's enough filament coming through the tip itself, the temperature's right.
Papi.
So here's some of the screens that you... Okay, so what you're gonna wanna do is you wanna be able to make sure that your your processes and your process settings are correct. And these are the settings that I currently have on mine that work very, very well. This is the diameter of my nozzle right now, it's 0.40. And the extrusion, I typically have it at 1.00 because I want to make sure that it flows well and it does well, and I have it out to manual here. And then you got to make sure that these settings match as well. Here the layers, the additions. I make sure I always have a skirt just to kind of have an idea where it's going to print on the board. It usually does that. The infills, make sure that you have these set here. These are very important as well. Your support. The temperature. In my case, when I first opened up the software, I only have primary extruder here, and I had to add the heated bed. So if you don't have it, make sure that you add the temperature control here for the heated bed, and make sure that you set it to 60. The cooling, the G-code. Another thing is that you want to make sure that if you do have the Ender 5 Plus, you want to make sure that your X, your Y, and your Z axis is set to what the printer is set to, or the glass itself is. You can find that under the About on the printer itself. You can find it on the manual. So these numbers here, you can find it on those two places. And see, these are great scripts. This buddy of mine hooked me up with that. It basically it makes sure that it sets the printer it sets up the printer ready to go. It does like a get ready prime away from the object that you're going to print, and then it goes ahead and starts printing it. And then when it's done, it resets the extrusion and then the print nozzle, and it goes ahead and turns off the fans and moves it away from whatever it's printed. And you also want to make sure that you add your ending script. So you have your start script and your ending script here. This is where it turns off the cooling fans, the extruder, the bed, and disables the motors. So if you are doing an overnight project and you don't want it to keep going, once it's done, it'll go ahead and shut off completely. Here you can go ahead and adjust the speed itself, the bridging, and the advance. Now you can go ahead and save that profile as a new profile. You can also export it if you need to. Let me close this out. If you go here, you can go ahead and export that FF5 profile, which is what's down here. You can go ahead and do that. So that's pretty much it for the software itself. I think it's a lot better than the one that it comes with Ender 5, because it has a lot more of the supports and things like that. It's a lot, you can adjust it more, you can add additional code in there that allows you to turn off those fans and things like that.
Alright guys, so here is the final print of that remote. All of this right here is going to be removed. Okay, even the ones in here, and I'll show you how to do that. But I just want to show you kind of how it looks overall. Right. And then basically now I just have to remove this. See, it just pops right off. These little pieces like that don't come off. You grab one of these scrapers like this and they come right off. Anything of this excess, you can just remove it. And now we're just going to remove all this extra piece here. That's basically your support, and those supports need to be removed. And I'll show you how to do that. So as you see here, these you can just kind of push really hard, and the support comes right out. So this is one side, this is the other side. You can always sand this down a little bit. Okay, these right here in the middle sometimes are hard, or it's easy sometimes, it just depends. Okay, boom. That was all support. Okay, so you see how it leaves a little bit extra here. You can get like an X-Acto knife and just shave that off, or get a sander and shave that. And then here for the buttons, sometimes I get a nice blade, kind of cut the sides. Okay, so basically I got an X-Acto knife and I went in here, I kind of cut off a little bit that couldn't get out, and here comes one of them, and then here comes the other one. You can always put a pencil through it. There you go, now it came out. But it came out really good overall. Came out really good to print out. The other remote slides in here. Okay, so here are those pieces that I printed out previously. So we're gonna go ahead and just put those in there. Okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and put this one in here as well. So here we go. And now all we gotta do is slide the remote in there. There we go. Boom. Now you see I got two of them matching. Alright guys, well I hope you liked the video and how well the print came out with the Ender 5 Plus. And I'll go ahead and add all the links and things like that for like how to level it and how to get all your settings properly, how to build one. If you're interested in buying one, I'll add all those links on there. And I'll also add the link of the profile of the free design here that you can go ahead and print. Well, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with the Vera Projects.